Hello and welcome everyone. Thank you for finding time and joining today's webinar. My name is Sabina Bayramova. I am an EAP teaching fellow at the Center for Preparatory Studies. I'm really delighted to see so many participants today. Please use the chat function below just to say hi and let us know what part of Kazakhstan you're from. Okay, we can have a first person from Taraz Diaz. Welcome. Shymkent. What's the weather like in Shymkent now? It's just rained in Nur-Sultan, by the way. I'm in Nur-Sultan. Okay, Nur-Sultan, Pavlodar, from different parts of Kazakhstan. Kostanay. I've never been to Kostanay. Almaty, Kızılorda. Just visited Kızılorda this spring. Yes. Temirtau. Lovely. Welcome. Just a little bit of, just a little housekeeping before we get started. Throughout this presentation, there will be a few stages where you can answer some questions. Please type them into the chat box below. I'll be monitoring it. It's pretty hot in Shymkent. Yeah, I believe it is. All right, I'll start sharing my screen and let's start. Let's get started. So, the topic of today's webinar is skills and habits of successful students. I hope by the end of this webinar, you will learn how to study smarter, not harder. So, the outline of today's webinar is the following. First, we'll have a look at different modes of thinking. After that, I will share with you some tips and techniques for effective learning. There will be a Kahoot quiz at the end of this session, and I want to point out that the Kahoot quiz will be on the things that we've covered today. So please pay close attention, and you may even take notes if you wish. So, Modes of thinking. Researchers have found that we have two modes of thinking. Focused mode, when you concentrate intently on something you are trying to learn or understand. For example, you are in a focused mode when you're writing a paper, you're reading, or you are doing a math problem. And diffuse mode. Somebody is annotating my screen. Oops, sorry. Let me. Stop you. All right. Sorry. And diffuse mode, more relaxed mode, when you're not thinking about anything at all in particular. For example, you are in diffuse mode when you are walking, taking a shower, daydreaming, or falling asleep. If during a lesson your teacher tells you to concentrate, you have probably slipped into diffuse mode. Interestingly, it seems that we can't be in both thinking modes at the same time. Being in one mode limits your access to the other mode's way of thinking. So here's a question for you. Which of the two modes do you think is best for learning? Please type your answers into the chat. Both, diffuse mode, both can be. We should alternate both moderately. Very good. Focused. Absolutely. You need both thinking modes. You have to alternate. When you're learning something new or difficult, your mind has to go back and forth between focused and diffuse modes. That's what helps you learn effectively. When you find yourself stuck on a problem or assignment, it is a good idea just to settle back and take a bit more time. By doing this, you let neural processing take place in this relaxed mode. So in this webinar, I'm going to give you some advice on how to utilize both thinking modes. So the first step is to use the Pomodoro technique. I'm pretty sure that most everybody knows what the word Pomodoro means. I'm monitoring the chat just to see if you reply. Yes, you do. Good. Pomodoro is Italian for tomato. So it was invented by Francesco Cirillo. The technique was invented by Francesco Cirillo in the late 1980s when he was a student at university. He found a great way to help him stay motivated and focused. He did it by using his mother's cooking timer, which was in the shape of a tomato, something like in the screen. Cirillo found that the optimum time he could keep his head in the book was 25 minutes. Any more than that, and he started to lose focus. But 25 minutes suited him, and he used the tomato timer to create 25-minute sessions. He used these sessions every evening and found that he could get through all of the books that he needed to read, and he completed all the assignments that his teachers gave him. So, all you need to do is choose a task that needs to be done set the timer for 25 minutes. By the way, you may find that you can stay focused, for example, for a little bit longer, maybe for 30 or 35 minutes. So 25 minutes is what works for most people, yeah? Work for the full 25 minutes. The timer rings and you have a rest for 5 minutes. The timer rings again and you get back to work for another 25 minutes. It is important that you do not multitask during these Pomodoro sessions. Just focus on the material. Turn off all distractions. Put away your mobile phone. So no WhatsApp, Facebook, Instagram, or YouTube. I'm pretty sure that anybody can stay focused for 25 minutes. After about 4 or 5 Pomodoro sessions, you take a longer, like 15, 20-minute break. And you can reward yourself. Do wherever you like during your breaks. You can take a walk, surf the web, have a cup of coffee. The important thing is you need to let your brain change its focus for a while. During this time of relaxation or diffuse mode, your brain works away in the background and helps you out with the conceptual understanding. So, I just remind you that we're talking about habits of successful students. And everybody knows about the connection between physical activity and bodily health. Perhaps it's not widely known the relationship between exercise and mental fitness. In a study done at the University of British Columbia, researchers found that regular exercise appears to boost the size of the hippocampus, the brain area involved in verbal memory and learning. So exercising is a great way not only to stay in shape while you study, but it can also make you an even better student than you already are, and you can improve your long-term memory. So a healthy body equals a healthy mind. Another habit of successful students is getting enough sleep. Here's a question for you. How many hours of sleep do you get per night? 10 hours. Wow. 6, 7. Okay. It varies. How many hours of sleep do you usually get before an important event or exam if you're a student, or a test? 4, 5, 2. How many hours of sleep is recommended that people of your age get? Maybe 0. I can see 8, 10, 8, 9, 6, 8, 7, 8. The American Academy of Sleep Medicine has recommended that teenagers aged between 13 and 18 should sleep between 8 and 10 hours per night. A full rest is necessary for your brain to retain all that you just learned. Moreover, during sleep, your brain tidies up ideas and concepts you're thinking about and learning. So if you've gone through a few Pomodoro cycles and still haven't worked through a problem, try stepping back from it until the next day. Get a good night's sleep and let the problem percolate in your brain. Focus on process, not product. By product here, I mean, for example, homework that you have to complete, or an essay that you have to write, or like here at NewFIP, our students write 2,500 word essays. So by focusing on process rather than product, you stop judging yourself, and instead you allow yourself to relax into the flow of the work. If you focus on achieving the results, it can be daunting and discouraging. One of the easiest ways to focus on process is to focus on doing a Pomodoro, 25-minute work session, yeah? Not on completing a task. So next tip is eat your frogs first. Before I tell you anything about this technique, I have a question for you. Have you ever heard this expression? What do you think it means? Yes, I prefer horse meat. Okay. Mark Twain, absolutely. Do hardest thing first. I'm monitoring the chat. Very good. I care. Mark Twain said, eat a live frog first thing in the morning and nothing worse will happen to you the rest of the day. So try to work on most disliked, difficult items first. Doing the most difficult task first, eating the frog, gives the harder activities your most energy and effort before you start to get tired. Many will want to do easy tasks first, just to get them out of the way. However, research shows that the rest of the study session will go smoothly with the frog gun. Believe it or not, starting with the most difficult subject will greatly improve the effectiveness of your study sessions and your academic performance. Do not study for a long, intense period of time close to an exam. When you space, so the technique is you have to space out your studying. When you space your learning, you take the same amount of study time and spread it out across a much longer period of time. Doing it this way, the same amount of study time will produce more long-lasting learning. For example, 5 hours spread over 2 weeks is better than the same 5 hours just the night before the exam. So set aside a bit of time every day just for studying, even if your exams are months away. Learn and revise a little every day instead of waiting to cram at the last minute. Many times we look at material in our textbook or in our notes and we say, yeah, I understand that, especially if we spend a lot of time with it. But if we never test it, we don't really know if we understand it. So, a super helpful way to make sure that you are actually learning and not fooling yourself with illusions of competence is to test yourself on wherever you're learning. You can test yourself by, for example, paraphrasing what you just read, or by using flashcards. You can also use recall. For example, read the material, understand it, make sure you understand it, put it away, and try to recall it from memory. You can teach the material. It's another technique and habit employed by successful students. You can teach it to a classmate, an imaginary friend, your grandma, whoever. Research shows that students who spend time teaching what they've learned show better understanding and knowledge retention than students who simply spend the same time restudying. And last but not least, form a study group. Working in groups enables you, firstly, to get help from others when you are struggling to understand a concept, for example. You can complete assignments more quickly, and you can also teach others, whereby helping both the other students and yourself to internalize the subject matter. So, what can you do starting now to become a successful student? Use the Pomodoro technique. Exercise. Sleep. Focus on process, not product. Do most difficult tasks first. Learn and revise a little every day. Test yourself. Form a study group. So, let's do some sort of retrieval practice now. As I promised, we are going to play Kahoot game, Kahoot quiz, which is based on the information that we've just covered today. Take your mobile phones and go to kahoot.it, and I will share, let me go there, and you'll see the pin on the screen. Okay, you can't see the Kahoot window. All right, sorry. Let me... How is it now? All right, we have 51 players. 52. can start now. 58 players. 59. Let's start. Okay. Let's start. The Pomodoro technique uses a timer to break down work into let's see. Yes, Ty, very good. Aru, Nurbul, player 2020, Yerkesha, good. Next, true or false? Waiting until right before a deadline to start working helps you to avoid stress. Good. Aru, good. What does eat your frogs first mean? Good. Arrow is leading. True or false? Being able to stay focused and concentrated for a long period of time is the most essential skill of successful students. Only 23 correct. Good. Which statement about sleep is true? Layla is leading now. Nurbol. So we have Layla, Nurbol, Max, Ainur, and Dasha. True or false? It is more effective to repeat the material 20 times in one sitting rather than over several days. Leila, Nurbol, Ainur, Max, Madine. Good. Which mode is activated when you are taking a walk, sorry, listening to music, or sleeping? Oh, same people. Good, good. True or false? The most effective learners always focus on their results. Which statement about physical activity is not true? Ainur is leading now. So we have Ainur, Leila, Noble, Max, and Madine. Good, very good. True or false? Self-testing and recall are the best ways to strengthen your learning. Good. When studying with your friends, you should Leila, Ali share, and the winner, Ainur. Congratulations. Well done. Congratulations, Ainur. Very good. Thank you for listening attentively. This is the end of our webinar. Thank you, everyone, for coming. I hope this has been interesting and helpful. It was a pleasure being with you today. I hope all of you will come to Nazarbayev University. And if you do, you can come and introduce yourself and tell me that you attended this webinar. Thank you again. I hope you all stay well. Bye.